The crystalline chamber of the Galactic Council stretched 3 kilometers in diameter, its walls pulsing with bioluminescent patterns that translated the thoughts of 47 species into universal understanding. John Morrison adjusted his pressure suit's collar and glanced at Sarah Chan, whose fingers flew across a holographic datapad, calculating their final trajectory corrections. They shouldn't have been here. Humanity had been denied council membership for the 3rd consecutive cycle, deemed too volatile, too primitive by species that had mastered faster-than-light travel when Earth's ancestors were still learning to make fire. "The human delegation will approach," announced the Velkari speaker, its 17 sensory stalks retracting in what John had learned was their species' expression of distaste. John and Sara walked forward, their boots clicking against the biometallic floor. Behind them, 300 representatives from across the galaxy watched with what sensors translated as anticipation, or perhaps hunger. "You were summoned to answer for your species' violation of Expansion Protocol 779, the speaker continued. "Your colony fleet breached the Castery quarantine zone. This is an act of war." Sara looked up from her datapad, her dark eyes cold. "With respect, Speaker, humanity never agreed to Protocol 779. We aren't council members. Your laws don't bind us." A ripple of shock, registered as chromatic shifts and electromagnetic pulses, swept through the chamber. The Solar delegation leader, a being of compressed dark matter barely contained within a magnetic field, spoke in gravitational waves. "The protocol exists to protect lesser species from castery contamination. Your ignorance excuses nothing." "We're not ignorant," John said quietly. His voice carried through the translation matrix, reaching every corner of the chamber. "We know exactly what the castery are. We've studied every fragment of data available in the Galactic Archive. We know they're a silicon-based hive intelligence that consumes rare Earth elements and converts biological matter into processing substrate." "Then you understand why the quarantine must stand." The speaker's stalks flared with agitation. "The castery consumed 17 worlds before we contained them. They cannot be negotiated with, cannot be stopped. The quarantine is the galaxy's only defense." Sara tapped her datapad and a holographic display materialized above them, showing spectroscopic analysis and quantum-level scans. "That's the problem. You haven't actually stopped them. Your quarantine is failing." The chamber erupted. Denial, accusation, and alarm cascaded through the translation matrices in a cacophony of alien expression. "Impossible," roared the Feldari admiral, its chitinous plates rattling. "Our containment grid has held for 8,000 cycles." "It's degrading at a rate of 0.3% annually," Sara said, her voice cutting through the chaos with the precision of a scalpel. "At current deterioration, full breach will occur in 412 years. By our calculations, you've known this for at least 2 centuries." The silence that followed felt like a physical weight. John took a breath. "That's why humanity went in. Not to violate your protocols, but because you've been hiding a galaxy-ending threat behind bureaucratic inertia." The speaker's voice dropped to a subsonic rumble. "You entered castery space. Nothing returns from castery space. Your colony fleet is already lost, consumed by the hive, and you have contaminated yourselves. Standard protocol demands we sterilize your home system before the infection spreads." "That's genocide," Sara said flatly. "That is survival," the Solar replied. "We sympathize with your species' fate, but the many outweigh the few." John reached into his jacket and withdrew a small metallic cube, no larger than his palm. He placed it on the floor before them, and it projected a live feed, footage from the Castery quarantine zone. The image showed the human colony fleet, all 73 ships, deployed in a sphere formation around a pulsating mass of silicon and corrupted metal, a Castery node, kilometers in diameter. But the ships weren't fleeing. They were firing. Humanity's weapons weren't elegant. They weren't powered by zero-point energy or quantum entanglement. They were crude, violent, beautiful in their simplicity, railguns accelerating tungsten rods to relativistic speeds, fusion warheads that turned space itself into temporary stars, and something new: electromagnetic pulse weapons specifically designed to disrupt silicon-based neural networks. The Castory node was dying. "Impossible," the Velkari speaker whispered. "You spent 8,000 years building a cage," John said. "Humans spent 8 months building a weapon. That's what you don't understand about us. We don't accept inevitability. When we're told something can't be done, we take it as a suggestion." Sarah's fingers danced across her datapad again. "Our fleet has neutralized 72% of the active Castory nodes within the quarantine zone. Projected full clearance, 18 months. We're transmitting our weapons specifications and tactical data to all Council members now. No charge, no conditions." The chamber remained silent, but the quality of that silence had changed. The Vexolar delegation leader pulsed with what translated as incredulity. "You would share this technology after we threatened your world?" "Of course," Sara said. "Because when the Castory breach your containment grid in 400 years, it won't just be humanity's problem. It'll be everyone's problem. And despite what you think of us, we don't believe in letting people die when we can prevent it." John looked around the chamber, meeting whatever passed for eyes among the assembled species. "Humanity isn't asking for Council membership. We're not asking for your approval. We're telling you that the Castory threat is being handled. We're offering you the tools to protect yourselves. What you do with them is your choice." "But understand this," Sara added, her voice carrying a steel edge that needed no translation. "If the Council votes to sterilize Earth, our fleet has standing orders. Every ship, every weapon, every human in that quarantine zone will retarget from Castory nodes to Council worlds. We'll be dead, but we'll take enough of you with us that the Castory will feast on the ashes of galactic civilization." "You would doom the galaxy?" the speaker asked. "No," John said. "You would. By choosing extinction over cooperation. That's not a choice we'll allow you to make." For 17 seconds, no one moved. Then the Feldari Admiral stood, its massive form blocking the light from 3 nearby stars visible through the transparent dome. "The Feldari Compact votes to accept the human technology and grant Provisional Council status, pending proper vetting, naturally." One by one, other delegations rose, some quickly, others reluctantly, but they rose. John and Sara stood their ground, 2 humans against a galaxy, and watched as fear transformed into something else. "Respect,"